In the next 5 minutes, I'm going to be discussing the 4 major strategies when it comes to real estate investing and what and how, where, if you're just beginning or where you're at and what you should be focusing on. There's subcategories to these different strategies, but these are going to be the 4 majors. What's up, family? Jose Andres here, coming to you from Moving and Grooving on this Money Monday. And I'm excited to share with you these components if you're looking at real estate investing, where you should be at depending on your resources, your time, your knowledge, and etc. Okay, so there's 4 major strategies when it comes to real estate investing. You're going to have wholesaling, fix and flip, buy and hold, and lending. Now, each one of these depends on a few things of yourself. One of the key components in business is you have to know yourself. You have to have self-awareness, right? And you want to do things in a consequential step so that you're not doing step 14 when you should be on step 2. Take it from me. I've done a lot of these mistakes that I'm going to be sharing with you over the course of my last 7-8 years doing 100 deals or so. All right. So talking about the first strategy. Okay, the first strategy we're going to be discussing is wholesaling. This is not really investing. And the reason why I say that is because you're assigning your interest without ever taking ownership of the property. Wholesaling is sales and marketing. This is a great component to start off in if you don't have a lot of time, don't have a lot of money, but it's going to take more time, more effort, but you're going to get paid on the front end. And it's a very low point of entry when it comes to real estate. You'll see a lot of videos about wholesaling. You hear a lot of people talking about this, and there's a ton of competition depending on what market you're in, or pretty much any market, because of the barrier is such a low point of entry. Now, what's cool, once again, is that you can get your foot in the door. You can start making some money. My very first deal that I ever did was from a Craigslist property that I found that ended up being a wholesaling that put $7,000 in my pocket. Now, as somebody who's making 30 grand a year, 7 G's was good, right? We'll take the 7 G's, right? So wholesaling is sales and marketing, because essentially what you're doing is you're finding a homeowner who needs to sell, who has distress, whatever that is, right? They need to sell at a discount, they need to sell quickly, and you can provide that service for them. Then you have to be able to convert that seller to a price point that works for an end buyer, such as a fix and flipper or a buy and hold investor. Okay, so you got to know marketing to be able to get in front of these sellers at the right time, and you got to be able to convert them, right? You got to get them to be able to want to do business with you. Now, you can drive for dollars, you can network, get referrals. Figure out some properties that have distress, that you see maybe the weeds are grown out, you're driving around town looking for these things. This is how you can find some of these properties. You want to get it at a discount. Let's say you get it for 100 grand, you sell it to a fix and flipper for 110. They're going to make 30, 40, 50 grand on the back end. You get 10,000 at closing. Now, what's interesting is, once again, you're just assigning the paperwork. You're never taking ownership of this property. Second strategy is going to be that fix and flipper. These are the buyers that are actually going to take down the property, right? They're going to actually take on the risk of the property, right? So sometimes you'll see a lot of wholesalers trying to make a ton of money on one deal, but you got to leave enough meat on the bone that the fix and flipper is A, going to know that you know what you're doing. B, they're going to want to work with you consistently. I have the mindset of I'd rather make a little bit less on the deal now, but we'll be able to do business over a longer term. I believe relationships is a form of currency, and then one of the biggest components in real estate that a lot of people overlook. Fix and flipper is going to take on that risk. They got to manage the property, they got to manage the contractor, then they got to manage the market. They're going to have to fix it, flip it, they're going to have to stage it, list it with the realtor. Typically, these deals take 4, 5, 6 months to get paid, whereas a wholesaler, you get paid maybe in the first 30 days, right? Or less, depending on what that ends up being. So there's more risk involved as a fix and flipper, because you're going to have to raise the capital, you're going to have to manage the contractors, etc., and things can go wrong. We flipped dozens and dozens of properties. I've lost money on some flips. I made huge money on some flips, and that was what stemmed and one of the biggest challenges was the contractors. When I looked at my fix and flip projects, when something usually went wrong, it was because I had hired the wrong people on the job, or I mismanaged it, or there was some component of the property, of the rehab, that I had not identified. Okay, after years of those experiences, we actually cultivated a company, Streamline Renovators, from that manages all our projects that we've brought to the marketplace, so people will never have to deal with some horrible contractors like I have. Third, buy and hold. These are the investors that take on rental properties. That's single family properties. That's 1 to 4 units. That's considered a single family residences. Duplexes up to quads, still considered a single family residence. When you get to 5 units and above, now this is multifamily commercial. That becomes a different type of analyzation, but there's different type of buy and hold investors. Some people, you have short-term rentals, long-term rentals, midterms, right? You hear from different platforms, Airbnb, VRBO, whatever the case is. There's some investors that will fix it up, rehab it, refinance it. You can pull all your money out of the property, and you can have some free properties. One of our rentals, that's exactly what we did. We have no money in the deal, and we still net about $2,500 somewhere in there, with no money in the deal. So our return is infinite. Okay, so there's ways to acquire these buy and holds. I don't recommend you start by trying to do that unless you have capital to invest. You don't want to over leverage yourself and put 100% financing on a buy and hold. That sets you up for some very, very sticky situations. Ask me later on and I'll tell you how I know. All right, so you want to get fix and flip and buyers as a wholesaler, because then you'll be able to move your properties better and more. Okay. Buy and hold investors are typically more on the passive end. It's not always passive though, because you still have maintenance, you still have tenant issues. Of course, you can get a property manager, which I highly recommend. But you want to start small, 1, 2, 3, 4 units, maybe if you're just starting out, and you can move over to some bigger things, multifamily, 10, 20, 30 units. Okay. Then you have on the lender side, these are going to be your doctors, or these are going to be the people who want to do private lending on your fix and flips, on your buy and holds, because they want the tax deductions, they want the interest. Their money is sitting in an account that's just doing nothing for them, and they need somebody such as yourself to perform a service that the benefits of real estate provides. This is how you're going to fund your real estate projects, your fix and flips, your rentals. This is how you're going to find partners. Now in a different video, I'm going to explain to you how there's different components to a real estate deal you can give up for a portion of money. Okay, so depending on your time, depending on your resources, as a private lender, majority of them have a lot less time. They have their own other businesses, their other practices, whatever the case is, but they want to make their money work for them. So if you're looking to just get started in real estate, wholesaling is a great way. You want to take things to another level and get the bigger checks that you can afford 4, 5, 6 months. You know how to manage a team, or you want to hire somebody such as myself or our company that knows investors and what they're looking for. We can manage that for you. Or you're looking to place your money for some passive income, long-term holds, buy and hold might be the thing. Or you don't want to deal with management operations. You just want to get the benefit of cash flow, interest, tax deductions. Private lending might be your format. So you got to look at where are you at, what is your goals, what are you looking to accomplish. Awareness and clarity is absolutely key when it comes to real estate investing. I've done things in some unsequential orders. We did some wholesaling, then we did a big rehab that we ended up keeping as a rental because it was a family property that we wanted to keep. Ended up being one of the best deals. We still have that property today. Then we really geared into fix and flipped and bought a lot from wholesalers or joint venture agents. And then when the market shifted, we started going direct to consumer or sellers and did more wholesaling, right? Another term we can get into at a later time. And then we're always acquiring or partnering and collaborating with private lenders so we can finance our deals 100% so that we're not using our money and our operations can continue to run efficiently. So 4 major components, 4 major strategies, the big 4 of real estate investing. Once again, there's sub strategies to those. There's 20, 30 of those. There's a lot, but those are the 4 majors as you're looking at getting started in real estate